nerves.
Talk about a holiday rush. Lawmakers are facing a logjam on Capitol Hill right now. Democrats hope to push through some crucial bills before the end of the lame duck session. Among the top priorities, a spending bill to keep the government running, a deal on whether or not to extend the Bush tax cuts, and the defense authorization bill. With holidays coming up, there is not a lot of time left. Let's talk about the prospects with Debbie Dingell, a member of the Democratic National Committee, and Ron Bonjean. He was communications director to former House Speaker Denny Hastert. Welcome to both of you and happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Debbie, is this any way to run a country? I mean, we've got a couple of weeks left before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, I should say, and you've got all of these lawmakers trying to push through some pretty significant pieces of legislation here.
Well, unfortunately, they postponed it due to the election because people didn't want to take tough votes before the election. We've got some tough things. Business is looking for certainty on the tax cuts. If you can reach a compromise between the Congress and the White House, it would be good for everybody, and I would hope that that would happen. They postponed funding the budget for the government to operate. It's going to be a continuing resolution again. We're not moving the appropriation bills. I think the American people express their dissatisfaction with the way the Congress is operating and the White House is operating, and they want to see people start working together and start doing some of the things they need to do.
Yeah, everybody wants to see that, Ron, but I mean, especially in Washington, you don't get a lot done around the holiday season, do you?
No, you really don't. And they call it lame duck Congress because it's really lame in progress. Not much is actually done during this period. There are a lot of symbolic votes the Democrats want to try to push onto the Senate floor, but they know it's not going to get to the president's desk. The real thing that matters, as we said, are the expiring tax rates, because businesses need certainty and make sure their tax rates don't go up so they can keep hiring people so we can get the job market back on track. We also need to continue funding the government and hopefully get some type of defense bill done. But that's might be tough with the don't ask, don't tell on it.
Yeah, don't ask, don't tell. Are you making any predictions, Debbie, as to what happens to that piece of legislation?
I'm not, but what I think is sad is that the men and women who want to serve this country, they're willing to risk their lives, and there's so many more important issues that we are facing that I hope that we do address. And we all say that there's not a lot of time. I've seen some very important votes occur in the month of December being in Washington, and I think that this country's got some tough things, the funding in government and the tax cuts, as we discussed. I hope we can act on them before Christmas.
What about compromise on the Bush tax cuts? Is there anything that the Republicans would be willing to give, Ron, do you think, in order to give President Obama what he says he wants?
Well, that's a really interesting question. If I were them, I wouldn't give in. It looks like the Democrats are coming their way every single day. The pressure keeps piling on. And if it doesn't get done this year, early next year, Republicans could pass it and claim victory and do it retroactively. So, I don't think they should negotiate before they actually have to, and they may not have to.
But then you run into the possibility of a presidential veto, don't you?
Well, there's always that possibility, but then again, they could run it through in the next Congress and work on trying to get it done. And frankly, if they're pushing the job growth and the economic growth because of the renewing the tax bill or the tax rates, that it would be very hard for President Obama to veto it in the end.
Debbie, also you've seen the public mood out there. A lot of people pretty upset about the amount of debt we have racked up in this country. This spending bill to authorize the government to keep running, yeah, it's a big deal, but there are people who say, hey, we got to draw the line somewhere. And maybe we ought to just be telling the government, hey, take a day off.
Well, the fact of the matter is I don't think that's going to happen in the month of December. We had to invest in the economy to keep it from totally collapsing 2 years ago. I am one of those people that believes we've got to bring everybody to a table. Republicans and Democrats bring the labor unions and everybody else to the table. The Deficit Reduction Commission is scheduled to come out with the recommendations by December 1. We are at a very serious crisis in this country. We've got to make some very serious decisions about how we're going to reduce the deficit. We've all got to work together to get there. And I don't know how that's going to happen, but it's not going to happen before Christmas. That just point blank isn't going to happen, but it's one of the most serious challenges we face in the coming year.
So, Ron, what do you see Republicans and Democrats, when you've got Republicans in control of the House after January, after the new Congress convenes, you've got Democrats still in control of the Senate and the White House. How do you see those two coming together?
Well, Americans elected Republicans to run the House because they were giving them another chance. They weren't necessarily electing them because they gave them a mandate. They wanted to give them another chance to see how they could lead. And they campaigned on cutting taxes and cutting spending. And you hear more and more Democrats these days saying the same thing. I think they're going to have to work together to find a common goal in order to do that, in order to really get the spending down and make sure that taxes stay low in order to grow this economy and get the jobs back on track. That's going to be a really big challenge, but something that I think Republicans are up to, and I think some Democrats might be as well. After that, I think, early on, the Speaker in waiting, John Boehner, has talked about repealing parts of the health care law, trying to get the whole health care law done, repealed, and replaced with something that makes more sense. So we'll have to see.
Debbie, I know households all across this country have cut back on spending, limited gift giving, whatever, all kinds of things that people used to do, they're not doing anymore. And I get the feeling that the appetite is out there for the government to do the same thing. Do you agree?
We have to. We've got to reduce our budget. There's no question about it. I think that we had to invest at the time that we did, but the fact of the matter is we do need to worry about jobs. The economy would have collapsed 2 years ago, but we have to reduce our budget. It's about our children's future, but we're not going to do it with partisan bickering. There's a special interest out there that's going to protect everything. We need to come to a table and work together, or it's not going to happen, and we're just going to keep having crises. The question is, the country said, I believe, in November, they want to see us come together and work together. Are we capable of doing it? Do we have true leaders that'll lead us and say, let's come together and figure out how we're going to do it together?
Well, we have a couple of weeks left in the 111th Congress, lame duck session though it may be, to try to prove that. Let's hope it can get done. Debbie Dingell, Ron Bonjean, happy Thanksgiving to both of you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to both of you.
Well, escalating tensions right now between North and South Korea after that deadly attack on the South, and now new threats from the North. Where is this conflict heading, and what exactly can the U.S. do? Plus, we have some more viewer emails coming in to the Fox Newsroom. Check out, this is Stevie, and it's Stevie's first Thanksgiving. It's a special day. I don't know how much stuffing and turkey he's going to have, but I bet he does his fair share.
He might have a tooth in there somewhere.
Yeah, Stevie, congratulations to his family. Also, thanks to the Hedger and Fellers family for sending this one from Texas. That looks like an incredible family and a lot of fun on a holiday.
They are going to be doing some eating in that household today.
Thanks, guys. Keep sending them in. Happening now at foxnews.com.
Hi, I'm Specialist David Strayer from the 109th MPAD here at Cobb Spiker, Iraq. I'd like to wish Mom, Jack, and little Layla in Milton, Delaware a happy Thanksgiving. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.